Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. This season's Prestige Cup car is the Lamborghini Murcielago SV. This car is an old car for some players because it's a milestone car at one point. So some of us have a bright yellow version of this car. Now, if you're new to the game, you would have had to pull this today as a PC Cup car, or yesterday, depending on the case. And if you have the car, let's now talk a little bit about this car's strength, weaknesses, and stage 6 effects. Alright, with the help of the Mysterious Stranger, I am going to show you the stage 6 effects. But before we get into stage 6s, here is stage 5 with full fusions. We're going to start off here and then move to engine and then go down the list. I'm going to show you all the dynos based on Max Evo Tune first, and then highlight the differences there based on the changes in the parts. Then we'll talk about tuning because this car has an interesting effect depending on how you tune it. But here, a baseline Max Evo dyno for stage 5 only is a 10.718. So we're going to look at each stage 6 and how much it drops relative to the Max Evo tune before we talk about specific tuning. So here, engine is thrown in, no performance point change, almost 1 point, but there's a little bit of a bump in the Evo points. Thing about this car is if you just want to go Max Evo, you're only going to look at kind of a high duration 5347, and the only thing you're touching would be the final drive to mess with that. And with more power should be a little more top speed and a few more points. 10.581 from a 10.719, so it's about little over a tenth drop, maybe not quite 2/10, but tenth and a half. So that's engine. Let's go look at the next one, which would be turbo. Dropping turbo in, we see again 1 point change in the performance points and a little bit of change in the Evo. Again, this is really close to engine, right? You barely can see the difference here, and that means this part is also going to perform right near where engine is. 10.603, but again, we should be able to eke out maybe a few points here. Not as fast as engine, actually, a little bit slower. Now, looks like 10.603 is where I'm going to be able to get it the best I can. Yep. All right, so 10.603, so it's a little bit slower than engine. Let's jump out and move on to intake. Same thing, 1 point. And identical right now without tuning to turbo. So these guys are very close. Might be interchangeable as far as actual effects, but let's see if we can eke out another point or two out of intake. Oh, there you go, 1 point. Well, a point is still a point, okay? So since I can get an extra point, and it's a thousandths quicker in theory than turbo, we'll put it slightly ahead of turbo, but realistically, you probably won't even see a difference between the two. So they're essentially the same, which is about a tenth effect. That's kind of sad. They both don't do much, and they're about the same ultimately. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now we're moving out of the ones that are generally pretty miserable and into the ones that should theoretically be generally pretty good. Although, because, oh my god, 1 point as well. This is not boding well. Although that's a nice jump. Here's the thing about Nitrous with this car though. This car doesn't seem to like a short duration Nitrous as far as Evo points is concerned. Look at this. You keep lowering it and it goes down right away. Right away. Okay? But that doesn't mean that you always leave it right there. We'll talk about that when we do the tuning part of this. But with extra nitrous duration, your top speed should improve, but not by much. But the time is definitely better than our engine and turbo and intake by a bit, but 10.525 isn't that impressive either. Remember, engine was like a 10.58. This is a 10.52. It's only a little bit better than engine. So Nitrous isn't the big boy in this case. So that's nitrous. Let's move on to the next one. And here we have body. Oh, that's a big jump. That is an even bigger jump. So we know which one's going to be the big boy here. Body's definitely big. All right, so back to that. Let's start tuning the final drive here, see if we can get more. Yes, we can. No, we can't. 1213 is about where I'm going to get. But look at that, 10.054 from a 10.7. That's 6.5 drop, 0.65 drop, basically, for just one stage 6. That's a big drop. So body right now, it's definitely top dog. It looks like this is going to be a critical stage 6, because if you don't have it, you just lost almost 3/4 of a second in performance. Yeesh. That's not always a good thing, because luck being what it is, some of us will get body and some of us just won't, unless you get all of them. All right, so that is a big one. Let's see if tire and trans come out similar or not. Let's see. Let's fit tire. 3 points. Okay, not as high as body. Not as high as body. So this one's going to be good. Definitely going to be better than nitrous, but it's not going to be as good as body. Let's see where it ends with Max Evo Tune. What's interesting about extra tires, usually the top speed suffers but accelerates quicker, so you actually can use a more aggressive final drive, and 10.36. 3/10 off from body. But it is still an impressive 3/10 plus drop from stock stage 5, which isn't bad. It's up there right now in second place, because it's a little bit decently better actually than nitrous. Okay, so tire, definitely important. And finally trans. Let's take a look at trans here. 703, 1081. Trans may not be as good as tire. May not be, but gotta tune it. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be as good as tire. So it's going right now body, tire, trans. Nitrous is probably next, and then you go engine, and then turbo and intake's essentially interchangeable, with intake eking it out by 1,000. So we'll put intake before turbo. Turbo's last. So that is your standard stage 6 effects here. What about a combination effect? We know that these 3 are big and these 4 are not. Let's look at the major differences here. Let's take out trans and put in the 4. Okay? These 4 are going to be, well, this one probably has the most effect. It's going to help a bit, but remember, the other 3 each only drop time by about 1/10, with nitrous dropping at about 2/10. So what are you really going to gain here? In combination, you should get at least, maybe 6/10 drop, or get into the 9s, hopefully. Well, we'll find out in a second, because it looks like Evo points gaining pretty decently because of the top speed increase. That's a good sign. So with tuning and fusions, it's looking like it's got a decent margin here, but it still won't hit 9s. 10.165 is what the dyno says. And that's a theoretical best. Assuming you can drive under dyno by a little bit, that 0.165 is a lot to beat, okay, if you're not driving a car that just naturally beats dyno by a bunch. So that is not a good sign. So here we have the low end of 10.165. Let's look at the high end. What is the other 3 going to do for us if we put them in versus these 4? So let's start putting in the big boys here and remove the 4 horsemen of doom that if those are the 4 you get, you're probably doomed. You're not going to get through the PC Cup. All right, let's take these guys out. This is why I don't like one stage 6 being such a shining example of dropping time, because you're basically screwed if you don't get it, right? We don't want that. Make them more even, so at least if I get engine intake and turbo, I still have a chance. I mean, right now what it's looking like is if you don't have body, you're probably going to be struggling a bit as far as getting through the PC Cup. And that sucks. Look at this. Oh my God, look at the difference. You're talking exactly the difference that the body makes in between the 4 stage 6s and these 3. There's a 7/10 difference. That is crazy. So you're going from 10-1 to 7-4s. I'm sorry, what am I saying? 9-4. 7/10s drop because you have the big stage 6s. I may be able to actually tune this possibly into... No, not quite. Oh, there's another point. No, I lost it. So 1312 Evo gives you a 9.402 versus your 10.165 with the other 4 stage 6s. That's pretty bad. Now, if we were talking combinations again, let's go back one more time and see, without body, can we get to 9.4 easily with, let's say, we get these 2 guys and some of these guys in. Now, remember, those 2 are pretty good. Tire and Transit's pretty good. So the Evo point's showing pretty decent. So we might be right there again. But this is 5 stage 6s, right? Out of 7, 9.7. Okay, so 5 out of 7, you're only getting to 9.7. If I were Natural Motion, and I'm trying to be pretty fair with this PC Cup, my feeling is I would do probably 9.8, 9.7 for that final time. If I'm being really generous, I would put it at 10.1. But honestly, I don't see them being that generous because this is a milestone car. Everybody got this car as milestone. They should have gotten at least 1 stage 6, possibly 2 by this point. So, you know, having 2, 3 stage 6s shouldn't be that hard. And that's where, if you got the right ones, it could easily do a very good time. Now, let's go ahead and put it to fully maxed and take a look at that dyno. Alright, fully maxed, your car should be much quicker, right? So you're going to put it to 2.0. You're still going to leave this here because you're not going to get much more by playing with that. 53.47 is where it's at. Again, Max Evo is using the relatively long duration. You can get a little bit, because the car is so fast now, you can get a little more points now with just a little bit of adjustment on the nitrous. 8.756 theoretical max dyno. Now, would you be able to beat that? Well, probably not easily, but let's do a test run and see what happens. Now, we're talking 11-second duration on nitrous for an 8-second car. So a lot of the nitrous is going to get wasted. We're going to use the nitrous then as quickly as possible in this case, right? Also, with this kind of tire spending cars, you're probably going to want to shift out of the initial gears pretty quick. So let's see what we can do here. I'm driving a little bit like the LB Aventador to see if I can get a good time out of it. Right around dyno. A little bit slower than dyno. 8.771. Alright. So we're wasting nitrous here, but what if we start to really put it down, right? Let's really push that nitrous in. Dyno suffers, but what I know is that you now have 380 horsepower push near the end there when the car actually has grip. Again, cars with crazy top end that can run a high top speed, sometimes having the nitrous shorter and the more aggressive may be helpful. Let's see what it does here. Now we're using it in 4th gear to push it to 6 and push it right to the end there. Better. Not the best, but better. So now I'm running under dyno based on theoretical best, which is 8.7s, I'm actually running 8.6s. You could probably get even better once you get the shift pattern down and get this into even slightly lower times. But here you're talking about possibly hitting 8.6, 8.5s versus 8.7s, and your dyno is actually 8.9. Well, that's good, right? Because you're now running 3/10 under dyno. That's a live racer right there. The thing is, of course, if you run it in this bracket, 8.9 runs to about 8.6s. You could get in the bracket between 8.9 to 8.6, but if you start running 8.5s, you might get pushed into the 8.6 to 8.3 bracket, in which case you start losing. So you could run it fully max like this with this tune in live, and probably going to have to slow down a low at the end just to avoid getting pushed out. But you should be facing opponents running around that range. All right, so let's take a look at this car in live. Okay, we're in live. I haven't run this car in live at all since polling it and building it, so let's see what we can do here. If the dyno works, we should be in the 8.9 to 9.1 lobby. Actually, the guys that are running even slower. That's assuming I can connect. Oh, good, I did. Liberty Walk 650S can be tuned to beat dyno, so I can't assume this guy's going to run 8.9s or slower. He may run an 8.7. 8.5 would be pushing it for him, but let's see what he runs. Okay, any day now. Wow. Little slow on the upload here. Here we go. Okay, 4, 5, 6. I'm catching up. Ooh, he beat me. So I'm actually not in the right lobby then. Let's see where I'm at. He disconnects. 8.684. Oh, he disconnected? That's not good. That did not give me an actual number then, because it doesn't tell me much here. Okay, that didn't work. So round 2. Let's find someone we can hopefully connect to and race without. Oh, here we go. Let's out. Espana. Opponent's busy. Okay. Oh, FXXK is actually a good car. Isa Korea is a Race in Peace racer. I actually have my account in Race in Peace. I'm a member there. I don't think he knows this is me, but it's kind of cool to race somebody on your team. Okay, test run number 2. Four, 5, 6. I'm pushing up. Ooh, close. 8.658, 8.665. So I'm actually in the fast lobby here with 8.9 to 8.6 cars, and he's in the 8.6 range. So it put me right in the 8.6 range car opponents rather than leaving me with even slower opponents. This might be some kind of adjustment that was done with live recently. But again, the other reason is this car's fully maxed. When it's fully maxed, the computer knows what your car should be able to run, and it's not going to give you as much of a benefit of the doubt. You're stuck with running whatever the times the computer thinks that you should be able to run, and it puts you right in that lobby. If I take out some of the stage 6s, things may change. If I was running it in a different setting, let's do something a little different here. Let's do it without some of the stage 6s. That puts the car in a different bracket, and because now you have variable of time, your car's not running the fully max setup, the computer will have a harder time just judging you, saying that, oh yeah, he can still do 8.6s. Okay, variables now are being put in that affects the way this car would react. Now, we're looking at 9.5. Let's put it up a little bit to, say, 9.3s. I think theoretically I should be able to run much better than that. Let's see what my theoretical best is here. So theoretically, I should be able to hit a 9.1 here. Okay, so 9.6s might be better for me than having 9.5 tune. So 9.53 may not put me in a very good bracket because you're kind of in the middle of a bracket, not the best, not the worst. But if you can run 9.3s or better, you should still be fine. So back to live without all the stage 6s. Now we're going to see if we're still facing opponents that are running our max time, or in fact the computer is now not as sure about what this car can do. Again, this car was never run in live before this, so I'm a little surprised it was bumped right into the strong bracket. But then again, that was fully maxed. Fully maxed has a little bit different effect than if you don't have it fully maxed when you're talking about matchmaking. So let's see where we're at here. I am way ahead of him. So I'm actually going to just keep it in 5th. Now, notice this time the matchmaking is a little bit more generous to me. 9.5 lobby, 9.486. This car probably runs close to whatever the dyno is. So I'm actually in a pretty strong position here in this lobby. You really have to test it around a bit before you can tell if you're in fact doing good or that was just a fluke. So we'll try, that's a dyno beating car. So racing him should give me a better feel for how strong the lobby is. If it connects. Oh, it did. Good. All right. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm not getting the best launch here out of the car. Notice I'm still pulling ahead here. Again, in 5th gear, I'm able to stay ahead of him. That means I don't have to run my max potential to win. And this is a much more stable lobby for me. And probably I can stay here and win for a while without getting bumped out of it, because I'm actually running right around what my dyno says. It's a little faster. I would prefer to be able to run even slower, but sometimes you just have to take what you can get. All right, so doesn't lobby very favorably, especially considering it's tuned in a way to be slower, but it's in the right lobby at least, so it's not a terrible thing. Race CSR2. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not going to rate it right now. Okay, so that is your stage 6 effects. Some tuning tips. Mainly, all I'm saying to you is, for a dyno beating, run the shorter duration around 4.0. You can always play with the final drive to get the best time you can, and kind of leave tire 5347 is usually where you're going to be for most the whole way. Now, these tunes are all subject to change if you don't have full fusion. They're subject to change depending on which stage 6s you have in combination. So watching a video for tunes is great. The only time you can match tunes identical to what we're showing you on videos is if your car has matching identical parts. So keep that in mind whenever you're looking at a tune video and when we're talking about tunes. But what I can tell you is that with 4.0 Nitrous, you will get under dyno based on the dyno, not based on actual performance by much, because you're really going to only beat max evo performance by a few hundreds, but you're beating the dyno by about 2/10. And that's helpful, especially with supply cups. Not that most people don't have a faster Lamborghini anyway, so it's not a big deal, but it's just something to keep in mind. Is this car going to be extremely viable in live? Based on the matchmaking so far, I would say short-term, yes, long-term, questionable. It may have some problems getting opponents that is not going to outrun it down the line. This is unlike the LB Aventador, which does great in live and almost never gets bumped and beats Dyno 2. Okay, looks like I'm having a signal issue here now. So, bottom line is, this is not a bad car, especially for Tier 5. It's quick enough to get you through Tempest 3, and the Stage 6 is unfortunately is extremely biased to body, so you're stuck if you don't have body, so definitely keep that in mind. Good luck with the Prestige Cup this season. Any questions about anything I've shown you, feel free to ask on the channel. I am pretty responsive to all questions. If you have any comments where your tuning is different, do share with the rest of the community and the people that are subscribed to my channel. I like to share information, not keep secrets. The other thing is that if you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel, because when I do put up videos, you get notification, and it'll be an easier way for you to see when I put up new information. Thank you as always for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.